Fanfic Corner, presented by Jennifer. Hogwarts Rebels, Chapter 19, Laughing in the Sun. Okay, for those of you who have not yet seen the first few chapters for Hogwarts Rebels, I suggest you go view those now, as this is a continuation of that story. Ezra and Sabine jumped down the stairs, Scales on the boy's shoulder. The two were in high spirits because their family was taking them into the woods and they were going to study the animals there. The birds, insects, and small mammals. They reached the lounge where Kanan, Hara, Callus, and Zeb were sitting on the couches. Chopper was curled up beside Hara, while Sato was on his cage sat on his cage peacefully. "Morning, Ezra. Morning, Sabine," Hara said as they entered. "Morning, Mom," Sabine smiled. "You two excited for your biology lesson?" Kanan asked. "Definitely," Ezra told him. There's toast in the kitchen if you want it," Hara said. The two siblings nodded and got some. Sabine seated herself by Zeb, while Ezra sat down beside Callus. The man took a glance at Scales and shuffled nervously away. Ezra blinked in surprise. "Are you all right, Callus?" he asked. "Well, yes. It's just he has a fear of snakes," Kanan said. Callus shot his brother a death glare, but Ezra, however, looked at the man without any signs of amusement. "Callus, Scales is a gentle snake, who isn't poisonous, otherwise he would have killed me a long time ago. I can understand him because I'm a Pestlmouth, and know what he's thinking because he tells me. I promise he's okay. You can trust him." "You're a Pestlmouth," Callus repeated in surprise. "Yeah. What's the problem with that?" Ezra asked. "Well, most Pestlmouths get put in Slytherin." "He may be a Pestlmouth, but that doesn't mean he's a Slytherin," Zeb told him. "Ezra's good-natured, Callus. He has a chance to be put in any of the houses," Sabine said. "What house were you in?" Ezra asked his uncle. "I was a Ravenclaw, same as Hara." "Then I'll take it you're brilliantly smart," Sabine asked. "Brilliantly smart? No. I'd say he's more a brainy goof." Kanan smirked over his cup of coffee. Ezra and Sabine giggled at that, and Callus rolled his eyes. "Now, back to your problem with snakes." Ezra looked back at Callus. "You need to understand them and get over the fear. Once you've done that, the fear will melt away like butter in a burning pan." Ezra took hold of Callus's hand and made it flat. Motioning to Scales, the snake slithered onto the man's palm. Callus seemed paralyzed as Scales sat on his hand. "See, you're fine," Ezra said. Callus didn't reply. Scales looked up at him before glancing at Ezra. "What's wrong with him?" he asked. "He's scared of snakes. I'm trying to help him," Ezra replied. "Do you think it's working?" "Well, he's not screaming, so it's a start," Ezra said with a grin. The snake also smiled, then looked back at Callus. "You're not joking about being a Passelmouth," Callus told him. "All right, buddy, come here," Ezra told the snake, who immediately went back to his friend. Callus withdrew his hand and watched as Scales slithered up Ezra's arm. "All right, let's get moving. The eagles will be out soon," Hara said, standing. "Eagles?" Sabine repeated. "Yeah, we've seen quite a few flying over the forest this morning," Kanan told her. "Grab your jackets and your shoes." "Can Scales come?" Ezra asked. Kanan looked at the snake before nodding. "All right." Ezra was leaning against a rock as he sketched a squirrel in a nearby tree. Sabine was leaning against a tree, drawing the branches above her. Kanan, Hara, Callus, and Zeb were in various places around the meadow, all drawing things. Hara and Kanan had told the two siblings to try and sketch anything that interests them. Scales was sitting on Ezra's shoulder, watching him draw with interest. "That's a good drawing, Ezra," he hissed. "Thanks, buddy," Ezra said, finishing the tail and turning the page over. He looked around for a new thing to sketch. A sudden cry made him look up to see an eagle gliding across the sky. Scales gave a small whine and shot down Ezra's shirt. "Scales, what is it, buddy?" Ezra asked. The snake's head poked out from his shirt collar. "An eagle killed my family, remember?" Scales said softly. "Hey, don't worry, I'll keep you safe," Ezra promised. Scales gave him a gentle smile before going back down his shirt. Ezra giggled as he felt the serpent circle around his side. "Scales," he said, trying to contain his laughter. "Stop moving." The snake came back up from Ezra's shirt and smirked. "Ticklish, Ezra?" he asked. "What? No! What are you talking about?" Ezra asked nervously. The snake smiled before diving down and slithering all over the boy's torso. "Scales, stop!" Ezra pleaded, now on the ground squirming, unable to catch the mischievous reptile. The others looked over in surprise as the youngster rolled around on the ground laughing. "Oh, Scales," Sabine grinned when she realized what was happening. She stood up and went over to her brother. Sabine forced Ezra to stop squirming, and Scales wormed out from his sleep. "Thanks, Sabine," Ezra panted. I'm sorry, did I say I was rescuing you?" "Nope." Ezra felt ticklish sensations over his side and began laughing again. "Sabine," he whined, struggling in his sister's grip. "Cut it out." He and Harris shared a look before moving forward to the siblings. "Sabine, I give," Ezra yelped. The girl only giggled and continued to tickle her brother. Suddenly, she felt 4 hands grab her and pull her back. She looked over in surprise to see her parents smiling at her. They began tickling her stomach, making her laugh. "Ezra, help!" Sabine yelled. The boy got to his feet and walked over to the group. "Scales, go for Dad," Ezra whispered to his friend. The snake nodded with a smile before shooting like a bullet towards Kanan. He slithered up the man's arm and into his sleep. It wasn't long before Kanan was holding his sides, laughing as he tried to catch the quick serpent. "Ezra, call Scales off," he yelled as he fell to the ground snickering. "I don't think so, Dad," Ezra smirked. From nowhere, Callus grabbed Ezra and placed him beside his sister, where the man tickled the boy. Both of the siblings were laughing and squirming as they were tickled by their family. Hara got Sabine while Callus took care of Ezra. Scales finally slithered out from Kanan's shirt and sat beside Ezra. Kanan and Zeb crouched by the attackers and started tickling them. Kanan tickled Hara while Zeb got his uncle. Both were laughing and trying to get away from the predicament they were in. It all resulted in a big tickle fight. Everyone would turn on each other, and Scales would change his victims. He was particularly pleased that Callus was ticklish and attacked him often. Not just to make him laugh, but also to help him get over his fear of snakes. After 15 minutes of laughter, the Jarvis family sat in the sun tiredly. They didn't speak, just rested. Ezra sighed and laid down, resting an arm under his head. He closed his eyes with a sigh. Things were amazing.